Okay, welcome back, everybody. We have been chatting for a while about games. Short summary bonus because you're on YouTube. Oblivion apparently is going to show up again soon in like a new version. If you like it, if you don't like it, try it out. It really is a fun time. And then the other one is the one that I always forget, which is not Forgotten Worlds. It is, tell me the name of it. Outer Worlds. I don't know why I always forget that. Outer Worlds 2 is coming out in 25, probably fall, Christmassy time. If you haven't played Outer Worlds 1, do so. If you haven't played Fallout Vegas plus the DLC, I'm just going to say, I have a family of gamers. They talk to gamers. It is, I think, like canon that Fallout Vegas plus DLC is the best combo of stuff that exists in the gamers universe if you're in RPGs. Now, if you're in JRPGs or other stuff, you guys you're just missing out. But as far as storylines,
we don't get paid for this part, but
yes,
the Amazon Prime Fallout series was really good too.
It was, and they need a second season. Which, speaking of second seasons, The Last of Us season 2 is coming out. I'm going to be very interested in that because I really enjoyed the first
last
one.
weekend.
Oh, does it come out now?
When this came out, it'll be 2 episodes in by the time you watch this.
Okay, so important things we're going to geek out for a second. So, Last of Us season 2. Oh shoot, I forgot.
Captain America 2 or Captain America.
The series. Oh shoot, what is it? You'll think of it. It's all the kids that were
Stranger Things.
No, the other one. Shoot, what is it called? It's like a family of superpowered kids, and they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are their numbers are 1 through 6.
Not Gen Z.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot this. See, this is what happens when you drink something other than caffeine beforehand. I'm like logging into Netflix right now because it is. Oh, I can't believe I can't think of what.
Not Super 6?
No, it's not Super 6. That's not it. It is. Let me use my little.
This is what happens when you have decades of sci-fi, superheroes, gaming. We have way too much stuff to think about.
You know that.
I think maybe it's time we explore our options. Great.
Let's see. I don't want that. I want Umbrella Academy.
Oh, yes.
The last season of that is out. Actually, something that I started and I'm like, give it a shot. I don't have my thoughts on it. I would love to hear at info@developer.com. I would love to hear your thoughts on the next generation Walking Dead stuff, the ones who live and stuff like that. I actually have not finished Walking Dead. I finished with the when the Whisperers, and if this is spoilers, I'm sorry, this is years ago, when the Whisperers swept through and did some serious damage and killed some characters that I really liked, and I'm like everybody else they killed off in that series, not happy. Glenn, I'm talking about you. Carl, God, that hurt. All right. Okay, that's a whole other podcast. Love to hear how that goes.
In Cabo.
Oh, why is this? Okay, I don't want this to like few stuff. Okay, anyways, back on track.
Good topic.
This train has gone all the way over the edge, and we are Looney Tunes rolling it back on. I apologize to all you people that are not here for entertainment, but are here for technology. This episode, we talked about it, and I think I want to do. Let me go back to this. This is going to be a fun one, I think, because I really want to do PTO, which personal time off. I really think this is something that needs to be said. Every entrepreneur, every side hustler that out there, honestly, everybody that runs a company. And this is I've like shared this over the season. I have a company, RB Consulting has employees. I was employee number one. I have other employees. Sadly enough, most of them have my same last name. I have consultants now that are part of my company that actually have my same last name, but it's because I gave birth. I didn't give birth. I was part of the birth of people that are also technicians and nerds, much as myself, and we run in the same circles. So this is an actual company. So whether you are a side hustle, but I think more importantly, if you are a company, and even if you are employed, especially if you're employed and you're like trying to make bank or set up a side hustle or something like that, I think this PTO is going to be something that's very important to you. And so, once again, this is an episode I've been drinking non-caffeine. The other side of that, I've been doing a little tequila because I learned this could be another podcast as well. I'm a wine person in general, red wines, dry wines. Malbecs are probably my favorites. A good Cabernet Sauvignon with a steak. I'm a food and wine person. Lots of cheeses and wines, but if I'm gonna have like a heavy meal, even if it's like a mahi mahi or salmon, definitely steaks and beef. There's like or barbecue. There's like I'm a wine person, but I'm also because live in Tennessee, love some whiskeys. I've like worked my way through the whiskey trail. Nearest Green, by far my favorite. They're rye. They're all of the actually their cheaper whiskey is better than their more expensive whiskey. No offense to JD. Jack Daniels is the same way. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Daniels. I'm sorry. I can't say like people will come and cart me away in Tennessee. But their best, Gentleman Jack, I would actually go with straight up Jack Daniels before I go with Gentleman Jack. Dominic's in Memphis, one of the best whiskeys all around.
If they didn't get impacted by the flooding.
That's true. But they still got some good stuff out there. There's a lot of really good, if you're into whiskeys, I am. I also have become, I had a bad experience, as most people do, with tequila at an early age and got away from it. And now I've become more tequila curious, I guess, as they say, as I have realized that it actually has a lot of different flavors. And although you may think otherwise as you watch the episode that's about to occur, I'm actually more about the flavors than I am about like the alcohols themselves. Note to you kids, when you get older, don't bother drinking until you're like in your 30s and 40s because your palate needs to progress to the point that you can actually appreciate this stuff and are not just sucking down useless stuff. That's my like PSA right there. That's the one PSA that developer will ever have. Apologies for anything that I do before we start this episode. In a 3, a 2, and a 1. Hello and welcome back. We are continuing our season. We're building better businesses, but actually the podcast is building better developers. The original title of this was Developreneur, but if you ever ask one of your woman in the box, one of those devices to play the Developreneur podcast, they have problems with it. So that's why we also are building better developers, because that one they will say. And if you say that, if I were to say that right now and you had one of those devices, it would actually start playing the most recent episode. Pretty cool stuff. That's technology. Also cool stuff. I am Rob Broadhead. I am one of the founders of Developreneur, Building Better Developers. Also a founder of RB Consulting, where, let's face it, technology sprawl, it's exhausting if you are not in a technology world. If this is not something that you do as your daily bread, basically, I've been doing technology for decades. My team has been working in technology also for long periods of time. This is what we do. We eat it for breakfast. We know what's out there, and we help you because we sit down with you. We want to understand your business because everybody is unique. Every business is unique. We sit down, we craft a unique recipe for success for you based on the technology that is out there. And we also set it up so that you're prepared for whatever is going to come 6 months, a year, 6 years from now. We use integration, simplification, automation, innovation, and just helping you build the right team, the right, army to go to war with for the technology you need for your business. That is our secret sauce as we understand yours, and we find the best way to use technology and leverage it for whatever it is that you need. Good things and bad things. Good thing is it has been a day. This is one of those, I'm just going to get I'm going to get real with you guys, you listeners, me familia. You guys have been here for a long time. You have seen me through thick and thin. We have talked to all kinds of different people through interviews over the years. We've covered all kinds of topics. Today is one of those days where you get to the end of the day and we're just exhausted. If you're a developer, if you are in business, if you are solving problems, I think it can be hard for other people to understand how much getting to the end of the day can just have you ready to go have a drink, chill out, watch the sunset, whatever it happens to be. That's where we're at. At this point, it is very late in the day, and I switched over to adult beverages sooner probably than I should have. So the good thing is that I do have the adult beverages, that I have this opportunity to vent, that I have Michael on the other end that is able to we can talk, we can chat, we can talk about all that, share our experiences. We haven't cried, but we could have cried together about some of this stuff. And that's a good thing. The bad thing is that I've gotten to the end of the day and it's just exhausting. A better thing is that now Michael is going to go introduce himself. The guy that I just set the table for, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what's going on with you.
Hey everyone, my name is Michael Meloche. I'm one of the co-founders of Developer, Building Better Developers. I'm also the founder of a company called Envision QA, where we take test-driven development and we apply that to software development to help small to mid-sized companies, clinicians, doctors, whoever, look at the software you're using, look at your office, look at your company, and we make sure that what you are using to try to run your business works for your business. We will do a full assessment of your software. We will get into the nit and gritty. We will get down and dirty with you, and we will help you figure out if at the end of the day, what you're paying for really is helping you, hurting you, or if you need to pivot, buy something else, or build something specific for your needs. That is where we come in. Good thing, bad thing? Good thing, having a great time with Rob tonight. We are way off the rails, so enjoy this podcast. Bad thing is, we are off the rails. Anyway, pretty much back. We're off the rails. I'll leave it at that. Back to you.
We're going to talk about, this is so timely. We are sometimes smarter than we think with some of our topics. We're going to talk about PTO. We're going to talk about taking a little time, chilling out, getting away from your work. The subject line or whatever is basically PTO is not just for employees. That's sort of the catch, the hook that Michael threw out when he said, hey, here's a topic. And I agree. This is a really challenging topic for me in particular because I will preach it, but I don't do it. Now, let me set the table a little bit. My company, and I had this a little bit in the pre-show, I talked about this. In my company, there is no such thing as PTO. I mean, it is, but we don't track it, actually. If you need to take a day off, you take a day off. You need to take a half a day off, you take a half a day off. Part of this goes to me, and I get tired of red tape and the accounting side of that stuff. Part of it goes to my team works. My team gets crap done. And so if they need to take a day off for whatever reason, if they need to, and a lot of times, honestly, I have to push them to take a week off or some, serious amount of time because their days off are births, deaths, weddings, the things that you have to take a day off for. It is very rare. Actually, okay.
Or video game releases.
Yeah, we don't do that. So God bless her. Natalie said when we were sitting down and putting together the holiday calendar for RB Consulting. She said, you need to make sure that everybody automatically gets their birthday off. And I said, WTF, nobody does that, because I don't even know my birthday half the times. There have been years, it has been days after my birthday. I'm like, oh, I just had a birthday. And God bless her, she's right. We need to do that kind of stuff. So there's things like that you should take a day off. Now, as a business owner, I'm going to throw there's a good thing, bad thing. So I was going to take a day off this Friday, a couple days from now. And the person on the other end of the internet happens to be the co-host of this, because we're working a project, he was like, hey, actually, he was not the one that did this. So I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but it was like, hey, we need to get together. We need to have an offsite. We need to do some stuff. We need to do like these things, which totally agree 100% need to get those stuff done. This Friday that I was going to take off probably was the last day I wanted to do it. But when I looked at my schedule ahead, I'm like, yes, we need to do it on Friday. So I am preaching not to the choir. I am preaching to the choir that is walking out of the church right now, because I struggle to take PTO. I struggle to take time off. In the last 5 years, this is like confession time right now. In the last 5 years, the time that I have taken off where I was not working during the vacation, I think is like maybe twice in 5 years. The most recent one was not too long ago, because my wife said, you will not take a laptop with you. No matter how much I tried, she's like, you will not take a laptop with you. I will throw it off the boat. And she probably would have. And so I took 4 days, 5 days. It ended up being 5 whole days that I did not touch my laptop. My laptop was crying when I got back to it. It said, why do you forget me? Where did you go? No, it didn't. It didn't give a squat, because laptops have no personality. They're not people. So moral of that story is, you can take time off. Another bonus of that is that I took one of these employees that I was like, okay, I can probably trust him. He knocked it out of the park and ran the meetings. Nothing blew up. I got back, still had a business, still had employees. We were still like making payroll and all of the things that matter. And I say that because as a side hustler, as an entrepreneur, and sometimes even as an employee, we do not take time off. We think way too much of ourselves. We have to be here. We have to get this project done. This will not get done without us. And honestly, sometimes our a-hole bosses will do that to us as well and say, I need you here. But you know what? You need to set boundaries. You need to realize that work is not the rest of your life. And honestly, taking a break, getting away, most often will actually end up improving your productivity, as opposed to you working your butt off late at night through the weekend. This is something we've talked about before. You need to know when to step away. But PTO in itself, before I toss it over to Michael, that's one of these things that I think we underestimated. And what I will throw in there is that a 3-day weekend is not going to cut it, because we need time to decompress before we can actually relax. If you take a 3-day weekend, Friday, you're still freaking out about all the stuff that didn't happen on Friday. Saturday, you're worried about all the stuff that you didn't get done on Friday, and you're thinking about all the stuff that should happen on Sunday. Sunday, you're thinking about, crap, I'm going to get to work on Monday, and there's going to be a pile of work. And Monday at like 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., you may finally chill out for a minute and say, wow, I just had a 3-day weekend. And then boom, you're back into the next week. Take more time off. I will tell you, I will go to the mat on this one. Years and years and years and years and years ago, I took, because of how it fell that year, I took a 2-week vacation at the end of the year. And then a couple of years later, I did it again. When I have been able to take a real 2-week vacation, even a week, and be like, I'm not thinking about work. Those are so refreshing, recharging, and I get back to work just like crying almost that I want to go back to work. That is the vacation, the PTO that you need to take. Do not get yourself in a situation, although there is a benefit and there's a way that you can leverage this. If you get to the point where you're like, I have to spend my PTO because otherwise I'm going to lose it. And I know a lot of people that do this and they ended up taking 3-day weekends, like week after week after week. They just do 4-day work weeks to the end of the year so they can burn through their PTO. There is some that you can leverage that. You can make that work, but that is not going to work as far as like sanity and recharging and stuff like that and actual rest and vacation. For example, I'm going to take rest and vacation. I'm going to take a sip of my drink and I'm going to pass it over to Michael. What are your thoughts on this? Because I know both of us suck at this.
So I'm going to start out with a horror story. So I'm going to start out with one. So after college, I had a couple jobs before I landed my first developer job. I had a couple teaching jobs where life was actually pretty good, but then I got into what I thought was what I love to do, which honestly is. I started working for this healthcare company in Nashville, and 7 year, or actually, I worked there for about 7 years, and 5 years into the company, working for the company, I took a week off, went with my wife. She had a business conference. I went with her to Vegas, and I'm out climbing a mountain and get a phone call as I'm hanging off this mountain that, oh shit, the stuff's on fire. I'm like, what do you mean stuff's on fire? The problem I had was I was the only person that did what I did at the company for 7 years. I had no backup. It doesn't matter what you do. You need to be able to pull yourself out of the job and have a break. 6 months after that incident, I quit that job. Now, did I learn my lesson? No. We run into these situations in almost any company we work at. We want to be good at what we do. We tend to position ourselves, depending upon where you're at or what you're doing and where you're at in your career. You position yourself to be very reliable, or basically they can't eliminate you. Like they have to have you. They have to.
Irreplaceable is the
Thank
word.
you. That's the word. You're irreplaceable. And unfortunately, that's a bad thing for those of us that want to start companies and build businesses. You need to build the business. You need to build things in such a way where you can remove yourself. You are not the linchpin that runs the company. The company needs to run itself. You help facilitate the company. You help facilitate the growth of the company, but the company should not live, die, or breathe on your existence. That should never happen. You need to eliminate yourself as the blocker of your business succeeding. Tim Ferriss had a great statement of this when he talked about trying to sell his BrainQuick company, where he could not extract himself. He had to figure out how to eliminate himself from the company. If he were to leave, how could he sell the company? You need to think in terms of that wherever you are, be it you are an employee, you are a business owner, you are a developer, you are an entrepreneur. We love what we do, but at the end of the day, we need to figure out how to reset. Rob knows this. This is where this topic came from. I am horrible at this. Absolutely horrible. I will take PTO to work on other things. We have to pay bills. We have obligations. We have things. There are things that always stack up. There are always something that needs to be done. At the end of the day, what are you doing to be a better person, a better developer, a better business owner, and a better family man, husband, whoever? But we need to figure out what we want. And it's not work. I talked about it last episode. I took a stroll in the yard the other day and just like, what am I doing? You know, what am I working for? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And it's like, oh, trees, yard, land, birds, guineas that freaking do whatever the hell they want, chickens that get eaten by dogs or coyotes, fish, turtles. Bottom line is, we have one life. We stress about way too much crap we don't care about, or really we have no control over. Take the time, take the PTO, take the break. You owe it to yourself to reset, or we're going to burn out, we're going to fail, we're going to get into those cycles where, because we're not taking those pauses, we're going to get into those feedback loops where we are doing the same thing again and again and again, which is by definition insanity. You need to do different things over time. So please, if you get anything from this episode, is PTO, vacation time, breaks, pause, take a step back from what you're doing every day. And it could be as simple as turn focus mode, like turn off your phones, turn off the video games, turn off the TV. Do something different that helps you reset, helps you relax, and helps you get back to the status quo. Because at the end of the day, if you find yourself like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing it, it's like, oh, I'm busy, busy, busy. No, you do not want to be busy at work. You want to be productive. If you are not being productive at anything you're doing it wrong. Take a step back, reset. What is it that you need to be doing? Do that or do nothing. Take a pause. Call your boss and say, hey, I need a break. I need a mental break. I need a sick day, something. If you find yourself cycling, step back, take a break, pause. You know, that's where this whole idea of the PTO, taking a break, came from. We, especially as entrepreneurs, as owners, as, business owners, we run businesses. We are the business, or at least we think we are the business. And if we aren't there, the business will fail. That happens more times than you think in anything that we do, not just running a business. Pause, take a break. What is important to you in your life? And if you're not doing it, take a few days off, find it again. If you don't, you are missing out, or you're burning out to the point that you are going to crash and burn. And crash and burn is not where you want to be. That is a sign that you need to walk it back. Thoughts, Rob?
We have talked about burnout being devastating to us because we are all go, go, go kind of people. I'm going to give you some thoughts on what I have found has worked for me. May or may not work for you. And actually, I've gotten away from it and I've realized how much it does work for me. Flashback sometime in the past. I honestly don't even remember when I last was actually able to do this. I would basically get up about 6 a.m. in the morning and start work because I would do a lot of like pre-work stuff. So I had about an hour to like chill and get started on my day. And about 7 o'clock-ish, I would start work. And then I would work until about 11 and it start about 7:30 and work till about 11:30. So I get in 4 hours in, focused on usually one or two projects. And honestly, we've talked a lot about like the 15 minutes a day kind of stuff. Usually my first hour would be 4 15-minute a day things that I wanted to make progress on. So I'd be like, made progress on A, B, C, D. So I would start my day by 8:30 in the morning. usually I had like progress on the things I really want to progress on. And then I was into a project, get to about 11:30, and I would break for lunch. And I would have something to eat. I may make myself a meal. I may get a meal, whatever. I may go for a walk for a while. I would read for a little bit or something like that. I may, something to chill. And then about 1:30, get back to work. I would take a nice long lunch break, we'll call it. And then from 1:30, I'd work till about 5 or 5:30. Again, usually that was like whatever my primary job was. I'd spend a good 4 hours, like solid hours cranking on that. Maybe 2 projects. A lot of times it was just one. Get to the end of the day, 5:30, wherever it was, maybe 6, depending on how my day went. Done. I was free to do whatever I wanted the rest of the evening. Could go do whatever, get to sleep at a decent hour, get up next morning, start it again, do it all over again. That is actually, for me, that was a really good rhythm. Worked out well. Your rhythm may be a little bit different, but I'm going to guess that the blocks of time that I had in there are going to be roughly the same. You may be some that needs 4 blocks of 2 hours, 1 block of 8. I don't know. I don't know anybody that knows 1 block of 8. Most people are like 4 blocks of 2, maybe 2 blocks of 4, something like that, because it goes back to the whole Pomodoro and some of those things. There's like only a certain amount of time that we can really focus on something before we need to step away from it. It becomes actually more productive to step away and stop than it does to continue beating your head against whatever that problem is. Now, my recent schedule is I get up and I'm going by 6 a.m. I skip lunch. I don't do anything else but work until 6 or 7 p.m. Depending on the day, sometimes I leave a little early. If I leave early, I feel guilty the whole time that I didn't get work done. And if I work late, then I feel better, but then I work until I go to sleep.
And that is a good example of what not to do.
Exactly. People around me, people that know me will tell you that is not the pleasant version of Rob. The one that I was before is what people want me to be. And honestly, it's what I want me to be. Because funny enough, I felt at the end of the day, when I was doing that like 4-2-4 kind of, 4 hours of work, 2 hours of break, 4 hours of work, when I did that schedule, I got to the end of the day, and regardless of what I did, I always felt more productive than I do right now. Now, part of it is I have overloaded my schedule. So that is something you need to take care of. However, PTO, taking time off, realizing that just working at whatever it is not always the best way to approach it, is really where to go.
What is the challenge you want to give our listeners for today?
I'm glad you reminded me, because I probably would have just like carried on and not done the challenge. Here's a challenge. This is a challenge that we've actually talked about a lot, but I think it is worth, wherever you are at, I think this is a challenge that's really worthwhile. I've gone back to this recently, and it was, as long as I've been doing this, as much as I know a lot of my strengths and weaknesses and where I went to, this was a very valuable challenge for me, exercise for me. And so I hope it is for you as well. The challenge is to sit down and think about, what is your most productive schedule? I know this is getting a little bit, this drifting off of PTO, but it is like, are you a morning person? Are you a night person? Are you a middle of the day person? Are you a split your day person? Like for myself, morning, afternoon, the evening needs to be nothing but whatever the heck I want to do, whether I want to play games, or I want to go out, whether I want to sleep, whatever it is. One of my employees I know is very much a like, not early morning, maybe like a 9 to 1 person, and then like a 9 to 1 person. Big break. So mid-morning, like normal work hours for people, and then like night out hours. I've got another employee. Best work hours are like probably like 9 or 10 p.m. until like 5, 6 a.m. Just like shut out the world and just go do some stuff. So while this is not related to PTO, that's really the challenge. The side note PTO is, when was the last, this is just really a question. It's an easy one. When was the last time you took more than 4 days off in a row without your technology? And isn't it time that you do it now? That is where we at. Another thing, it is time right now for you to send us an email at info@developaneur.com. I was like last episode, if you've been following along, Michael actually took over on the YouTube side. So you can go check that out. He's going to do it again today. He doesn't know it, but he's going to, because
everyone.
I thought he did a great job. Go
Check
for it.
us out at info@developaneur.com, Twitter or X at developaneur. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn at developaneur. And please follow us, send comments wherever podcasts are. Let us know what you think. And please reach out. We will follow or reach out to you as soon as you send us something or whenever we see your comments.
That is a perfect example of PTO. I'm actually going to go like log that I did, whatever that was, 30 seconds of PTO on my Developaneur time card. Because that's what you need to do, is you need to learn how to expand. I will wrap this one up because Michael did such a great job so succinctly. I just want to let you guys know we do appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please take some time off. Protect your sanity, because that is like, the mental stuff is so much a part of our work. Go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you
Next time.
All right, bonus material. Wow, we get a little whatever it is, little wine in you, and suddenly you're like taking off. I'm going to give you a bottle of wine per episode, and you're going to be like, dude, I am done. I got it all done. You didn't even have to say a word.
PTO. You know, if you find yourself thinking about work or overstressing, like thinking on a topic, like overthinking something, when you're not when you're not on the clock, if you're constantly in, like, connected or in, I forget the freaking term, but when you're plugged in, if you're always plugged in, you're doing something wrong. Unplug. And be careful with what you do when you are unplugged. There are triggers you can still do when you're unplugged that still plugs you in. It's like, okay, my day job, I do Java all day. Okay, so in my off time, I'm reading Java novels or books on Java or watching tutorials. You're still plugged in. Pick time and periods where you are not doing anything related to your day job, your side hustle, anything related to work. Read a book, play a game, but be careful. Make sure whatever it is you're doing, it is relaxing. It is helping to reduce the endorphins from the stress of the job. Recently, I found out that one of my favorite games, Darkest Dungeon, was actually causing more anxiety on top of my day job. Even though I loved the game, it was anxiety inducing. Rob's laughing, but it's true. You can pick something to do that you think is fun, but is actually a trigger for what you are still, like, what you're living. So be careful about that. I've had to take days where I don't play video games at all. I love video games, but sometimes you have to stop because the games you're playing are still touching on the triggers that your day job and triggers. Basically, if something triggers anxiety, stop it. Take a break. Take a PTO day. Do something else unrelated. It will help. Now, like I said, video games are my thing. They're my go-to. I love playing Diablo. I love playing Path of Exile too. But like Darkest Dungeon. Oh my god, I spin that game up after a bad day. It's like, oh, this is fun. Like 5 hours later, I'm still playing it. I'm like, my anxiety level has not dropped. My relaxation level is not down here. It is like way beyond even where I left work because the game is so challenging. What I'm doing may be fun, but it is still pushing that anxiety, pushing that stress beyond what you did for your day job. So you have to find that balance. You have to figure out what you do during the day and what you do in your personal time. Do they balance? If they don't balance, you need to step back and figure out what can I do differently in my off hours besides on recreational drugs to detract from your day job.
Wow, we just became an NC-17 podcast.
Well, I mean, we're trying to so we're already there.
Let's see if I can get. Oh, it doesn't pick that up. Oh, that's cool.
There you go.
So,
I'll pass it back to you. I'm already off the rails.
Yeah. So I have moved. This is one of the things. Is the phone is like one of those things. Job wise, I was hitting stuff up too much. And so I went to black and white mode, which is what I just showed you. Like the iPhone will do that. I've talked before. There's a book called Digital. I think it's called Digital Detox, and it's a 40-day detox of digital stuff, which is insanely difficult if you're like me and you live in the digital world, that you're on laptops all the time and stuff like that. However, very useful. There's so much that Michael talked about that is important. Okay, I will share. My son, actually I have two sons that do this, but one in particular, his favorite game is something called OSU or Geometry Dash. Both of those, or the Impossible game, which goes way back, but these are his games. They are the speed runs. They're rhythm games. Like you just got to like know what the rhythm is. He will yell and scream and cuss at that game. And I haven't dealt with him in a while about this, but I would tell him, it's like, just shut the game off. If it makes you that crazy, play Animal Planet or something like that. Like just Mario your way through this. I don't know what it is. Find something that is chill. I personally, game-wise, love games that are, I love a game where I can have a drink, I can shoot stuff and blow a bunch of crap up. So I actually, what?
I said not beer pong.
No, not beer pong. I love like a good Fallout. I love Skyrim because I can go drinking, shooting nasty beasties, kill them all, and then go like, I don't know, fish for a little while afterwards, or just wander through a trail and go find the top of a mountain. The thing about all of this is what regenerates you. This is very near and dear to my heart because I've just been through a season where I realized that some stuff that I thought that gave me energy, that regenerated me, that just because of what they were a positive, but they were actually a drain. They were a negative. And depending on who you are and what your personality type is, I will give you an example for you to work with. If you are an introvert, go sit in a crowd for 15 minutes, crowd, like people bumping up on you. What do you feel like after those 15 minutes? That is what draining is, because that's who you are. You're an introvert. You don't do crowds. They drain you. If you're an extrovert, go sit by yourself for 15 minutes. No interaction with other people. How do you feel? That is what draining is. Now, it becomes challenging because our lives are complex. We have work, we have personal relationships, we have romantic relationships, we have familial relationships, we have all this stuff. But some of those things drain us and some of those things will energize us. The whole PTO thing is figure out what energizes you. Be honest with yourself and go chase what energizes you. Now, I get that some people have really weird things or uncommon things that energize them. Some people are, we'll call it freaky or whatever. It may be that you're energized by watching reruns of All in the Family, or that you are, you love classic Britcoms, or that you really enjoy walking through a forest, or there's so many things out there. And, or maybe sitting on a podcast. I don't know what it is. Find out what energizes you. When you're thinking about PTO, make sure that when you take that time off, that part of that time off is doing the things that energize you. I started this way back talking about my 2-week period of time off that I took at the end of the year many years ago. And I was like, that was so awesome. The reason it was awesome is because during that time period, I listened to Christmas. It was during the end of the year, Christmas time. I listened to Christmas music like 24/7. I played games, probably 6 to 8 hours of games a day, probably Oblivion, like RPG, open world RPGs that just allow me to just detach from everything else. And then I spent some time, as you will see now, as you know, I had some time like having a little cheese, a little crackers, maybe drinking a glass of wine, talking with my kids and my wife at the time. That stuff energizes me. A little bit of personal interaction, a good mix, because I'm not an extrovert. I'm not fully an introvert. I'm somewhere, I'm an ambivert. I'm somewhere in there. I like some people time. I like some me time. Gaming, like those there's a lot of this stuff, like figure out which one you like. So gaming, like online games, not my thing. Minesweeper, not my thing. There's certain things. Figure out, like reading. If you like to read, figure out what kind of books energize you and which ones drain you. Like Michael said, it may be that you really like your work. You love to read books on Java or Perl or Python or whatever the heck it is. And wow, I ding the heck out of that class. But it also may be that you enjoy sci-fi or fantasy or trash romance or travel or you name it. And make sure that part of your schedule during your PTO is including those kinds of things. That is what will actually recharge you and make that PTO valuable enough that the next time you have an opportunity to do so, you're going to embrace it. Now, we've gone way long. It is.
And with that, I want to end this one with send us a message at info@developer.com. Reach us on X, Facebook, developer.com. Anywhere these podcasts, YouTube are located, send us a message. We don't mind any messages you send us. I may hate spam or people trying to sell us stuff, but hey, we will respond regardless. It may be like buzz off, but hey, let us know. Send us a message and have a great time and take a break.
He is burning through all my PTO time by now taking over this part, but that's okay. As always, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, a great time off. Chill out, enjoy life, because there's more to it than just this. Building Better Developers is about building better you, not just your technology skills. Have a good one. Talk to you later. As the kids say, peace out.